And we are live on the RockstarsDream Magazine podcast, also known as Rockstars of Business. My name is Mike Fallat, and I am with Bart Cerrati, the owner, founder of Just a Touch hair care products and the Hair Lounge based out of New Jersey. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I appreciate it.
I was just reading your article in our magazine that launched this month. People are loving it. I know you haven't received the actual magazine yet, but hopefully we're going to get into the contents of that article in a very short amount of time.
Perfect.
So tell us a little bit about what you do. You have the Just a Touch hair care products, which is an advertiser we're promoting on every one of our platforms. You own, number one, a product that goes all over the United States, potentially the world. And you also have a barber lounge, and that's how it all started. Am I correct?
Yeah. So it all started with me just honestly messing up my own hair in my bathroom. And
I need your help.
I got you. Just come on over whenever. So it was crazy because when I was a young kid, I would always go to the normal barbershop in town. Everyone's like, oh, they give the sickest fades and the haircuts. But for some reason, my hair is so difficult to cut, they'd always mess mine up. So I'd always go there, and then I'd have to have them do a fade and then leave there to go to another guy to do the top of my hair. Because when I was a kid, I would do like the short spikes or the messy look, and I loved the top of my hair. So from there, I was like 11, 12 years old. I was paying like $50 for a haircut. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I was taking my lunch money that I was saving, whatever money I was making, and then my mom giving me money for my haircut to then pay for 2 haircuts, essentially. From there, I studied like what they were doing. I was like, the clips were like, at the time, they were color coordinated. So I was like, oh, he used the orange one, then the blue one, then the red one, then the black one. So then I would sit there, and went to my house, bought the kit, and I was like, how hard could this be? Let me tell you, it was very difficult at first. I messed my hair up probably like 4 or 5 times before I can actually like get it down to like a decent haircut. Where when I was going into school and I'm walking around, they're like, dude, who cut your hair? And I was like, oh, I got a guy. He's far away. You don't know about it. And then until I started realizing, I'm like, well, it's actually a good haircut. And I was like asking people, and I was like, wait, honestly, did this guy mess up? And I'm talking about myself. They're like, no, he did a really good job. Like, can you please give me his number? And then I'd give them my number, and then they would be like, dude, this is your number. I'm like, exactly. I'm the one who's been cutting my hair. They're like, oh, I don't believe you. How could you be doing that? Yeah. So then I went from there. Then I started cutting my own friends. But the funniest way is how I got my one friend to let me cut his hair. He got a haircut every single week. Like when we were kids, like usually you get a haircut once a month if you're lucky, every other week, you know, for an event or something. But he went every single week. His hair grew back like that. So I go, listen, let me cut your hair. If I do good, you give me $10. If I do bad, I give you 25 so you can go get a new haircut. He goes, that's easy money.
Do you realize that is the complete opposite of 95% of all entrepreneurs, but you did something that made you stand out beyond anybody else's expectations? So keep going. That's phenomenal. Remember this lesson, guys.
So right from there, it took me like an hour and a half to cut his hair. I did a very good job. And he's like, wait a minute. He's like, this is great. I was like, so that means I get paid $10? He's like, yeah, gives me the $10. And then from there, started at $10 haircuts in literally bathrooms on toilets, garages. Then I went from the garage with literally like a cardboard box, clips, a busted, broken down folding chair, and like probably like 5 to like 10 square feet of area. It was literally like I'd pick the folding chair up and move it and be like, all right, next side, do it like that. Went from $10, then $15 into the laundry room, then got into World War III with my mom because hair and clothes never mix well at all. So then all the laundry was getting ruined. I was like, all right, guys, we're going to move this to the basement. I set up like a nice spot in the basement. Then I was going from like 15 to $20. And then before I knew it, it was like, before I knew it, I started cutting hair, but like I was still in school. I was doing marketing. I was a marketing consultant. I was a lot manager at Costco. I like had them hire me at 17 when the legal age was 18. Then from there, I was doing all sorts of things. I went to school for engineering, and then that's where I hit the fork in the road, where I was like, what do I do now? Because I have the path to become an engineer. I started a contract company along the way. I was going to do that, but eventually the end result was to eventually have a barbershop or a hair salon, that's why I named it Hair Lounge. It was the perfect mix for the two. And from there, I ended up in the middle of organic chemistry, dealt with aromatic compounds and essential oils, crafted my own shaving formula, the system that worked, because I literally got murked. That's the Mac Click. I got murked with all shaving systems. Like, I just kept spending so much money. I have sensitive skin, definitely like a rhino skin, but at the same time, it's still sensitive on my face. So I had to take care of it. I studied all skincare, and before I knew it, after like 6 months of trials in my kitchen with a KitchenAid, I've crafted my own system that honestly, they could be ages of like 15 that are starting to shave, that they get the breakouts constantly, or like in their 50s and they're like, dude, I've never had such a better shave. Like, this is like when I go to the barbershop and what they do, the hot towel. I was like, well, you can do it at your home now. I was like, this is why you commit to excellence.
Swear to God, the entrepreneurial lessons that you have there, hopefully we could break this down in a few minutes.
Yeah.
What you did was you created something that was so simple, $10 haircuts. What's the loss? I mean, there's not much I can lose from this. Let me give it a shot, $10. And guess what you did? Hey, it's almost like I'm going to give this to you for free, technically, if I screw up. And you might even make some money if I screw up. So you made it, you were the unknown. And to become known, you have to do stuff that's sort of out of the box thinking. So that's beautiful. And the second part you did there was you really basically kept growing. I think you should always raise your prices every 6 months to a year. That's huge. And the other part of it is you didn't just stop with cutting hairs. You went and started doing the products, which makes you scalable now at this moment.
Exactly. And then that's the hardest thing that I saw when I was a kid in the barbershop. My first job, I worked at a barbershop. Everybody knew the barbershop. It was very famous within the area. And I'm 16 years old right now at that time, not right now. Then I'm sitting there and I'm looking around. I'm like, wow, these guys are busy. Like they're making money, this, that. They're driving all these nice cars. But I was thinking materialistic wise. Didn't see the wealth behind. A lot of them were struggling because they were capped out. They didn't realize what to do. They didn't know how to like dive in. And like, I'm in school and I'm sitting there. I'm like, the key is education. Self-education will give you a living. I'm sorry. Formal education will give you a living. Self-education will grant you a fortune. With that, I sat there. I was working other jobs. I combined all the other jobs. I said, all right, Costco is a large wholesaler, right? Now we got to try to figure out a wholesaler I was working at a marketing company as well. Now door-to-door sales, cold calls, all that, hosting sales meetings. Then I combined both of that. Then I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, well, I could just do engineering. That's a great paying job. And then once I found out it takes 4 years just to get your professional engineer's license and you got to take 2 exams, I was like, I'm capped out after 5 years of engineering. I lost my mind three times. Like, I was like, I'm sitting there. I did so much numbers and calculations. I was like, at one point, I literally, my mom was so scared. Like, she looked at me, she's like, you're all right? I was like, I'm fine. I'm just collecting my thoughts. But
it wasn't you. That's what it wasn't you.
It wasn't me. And then once I started realizing, and I made all the connections with everything, I was asking all the guys. This is back when I was 16. I'm like, guys, like, so what's your end goal? And they're like, honestly, like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of capped out on the annual. There's only so many haircuts I can do. I was like, what about if you raise your prices? The shop wouldn't allow that and I said, well, don't you have 10 years experience and that person has 5? I think you should have because after 10 years, you're noted as a master at your craft and you're supposed to do at least 10,000 hours. I calculated alone for me right now, I'm 26. I did over 55,000 hours. And that's not even including from when I was starting. So like I'm 14 years in. And now when I look back, the one question that really stuck to me was, hey, Bart, what makes you different than every other guy or girl in this location right now? And what I used to do, which is the funniest thing in the world, is I would go around, I'd take everybody's like little shave cream that they had, and I would take all these different shave creams or conditioners, and I would just mix them together. Add water, I'd shake it up, I'd spray it, and that was my little shave formula. And then they're like, Bart, this thing works amazing, but you can't do that because you're taking other people's products and saying it's yours. I said, no, I know. It's not mine. I was like, it's just a mixture. It's my own concoction that I decided to make. Then after a while, now making the connection to today, when I actually could do the chemistry behind it and like configure out my own ingredients and formulate my own system, that was where I was like, whoa, like that's what really makes me different, is because I'm trying to think outside the box and then work my way in, where then I can come back out and then really just keep like multiplying. So once I had that going, I completely changed the game, because nobody else was thinking like that. They were just like more haircuts, more haircuts, more haircuts. When now, like what you just said, it's scalable. When if I'm just cutting hair, I can't scale. There's only so much manpower I have
Right.
alone. And then now I have to delegate other like operators or stylists, colorists, like have to get everybody involved. So if I just had a barbershop, I have to find barbers. It's so hard to find a reliable barber, and a good one too. You know what I mean? So like,
Bart, I've been around. I'm 36 years old. I've used many different barbers. I've found a few that I'm very connected to, and they do great work. Your passion alone, your business sense, your marketing skills, I've never seen anything like it. So you know that you are above the rest, and you're monetizing it in a way that I haven't seen too many people. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've not seen many people do what you're doing. You have the hair care products. You do great marketing. You have multiple avenues on Instagram and social media, and you have a phenomenal product that now you're getting it out in front of the right people, and you're working with the right people. It's great.
yeah, I honestly feel like that. I've had these products started developing in 2016, 2017, 18 was when I really started putting them out. And honestly, these last couple of years, I feel like I'm selfish because I'm hiding this message from everybody, like that. Welcome to the truth in hair, because like other people will try to lie, deceive, and all these large corporations, they're just trying to get the dollars out of you. I want to make sure that these products last. Like that's why I called it Just a Touch, because you only need just a touch. You really don't need too much. Like, and that's just a way of life. Like doing too much of anything at a certain time frame, like it could be harmful. So that's why, like my mother, every parent worldwide can agree with this. They always tell their kids, do things in moderation. And the reason why they say it is because the kids start to drink at a younger age, and they're like, oh, don't drink too much, you know? So, and then on an artist perspective, on the operating side, is you have your own touch, your own flow, your own craft, your own way of life. So your touch is way different than mine. So that's why when someone sits in the chair, like right now for you, for instance, if you sat in the chair, fresh canvas. Now it's the art of the touch, where I come in, I incorporate my ways, my skills, and then boom, you come out the other side feeling like $1 million, because after the whole experience, you dealt with all the products that I did. No one else does that. And then I also have a fragrance line that I got involved with, because I love fragrances. So I'll spray you with that at the end, where now you smell, feel, and look like $1 million, and now you're ready to go make millions of dollars. People tell me all the time.
You become synonymous with that feeling, right? Like when they think of feeling great, now all of a sudden your brand, your products, your face comes to mind, because, oh, if I want to feel like this, I want to go to this person, which makes you, I guess you could say, irreplaceable. And that's why you become top of mind.
Yes, 100%. And that's what I was trying to gear for, is just to try to make sure that, because backtrack with the fragrance, a sense of smell is the closest thing linked to memories. So let's say if you got so ready, like you spray something in the air, right?
Remember that.
You spray something in the air, and then you just closed like $100,000 deal right there because of that smell, just the smelling and scent aroma of confidence, and you just were just such a killer on that. Like you closed the deal. Now you're gonna want that smell every single time, because you need that feeling of that 100% confident, where like being where you're gonna be in there and be like, all right, like I'm a killer. I'm going to make sure I close these deals, versus like, all right, like if you kind of smell like shit, honestly, I'm sorry to say, but like no one's going to do business with you. You know what I mean? Like if you have body odor and you don't take care of yourself in a good, like healthy way, no one will do business with you. I can't stand that, because then you're going to smell something and it's going to throw your mind all off, versus like a soft, subtle type of like confident type of scent. They're more inclined to move forward and be like, wow, like I like what this guy's talking about. You know, like he's really intelligent with what this is. So when I do that with the service, it just it's the icing on the cake. It caps everything off. It seals the entire conversation that we had on growth, essentially, where then versus like, hey, like what'd you do over the weekend? No one cares about what you did over the weekend, honestly. Like and you don't care about what I did over the weekend. We want to talk about not the past as what happened, but what's moving forward and what's to happen. That's why the relationships matters on the future, not just yesterday, because we need to become better than that.
You care about the details in so much greater detail than me. And when it comes to like getting a haircut, you know, when I would think I'd go to get a haircut, I'm just going to get a haircut, get a trim, and I'm out at the door. But what you're doing, and I think most barbers think the same way. Hey, you're going to come here,
100%.
maybe you'll feel a little bit better, and then you're out of here. And then it's on the next person. It's an assembly line. But by you taking care, and I'm sure, I don't know what your station looks like. I'm sure it's immaculate. I can imagine the ambiance. There's a feel to it. When you walk in, it's not just like this. It's not just a barbershop to you. It's a way that people can become a better version of themselves in probably 30 minutes or an hour, right?
100%. In those 30 to 60 minutes, it's the most, like, think about it. We're trying to be with high achievers and high performers, so they got little time to waste, right? So in those 30 to, like, let's say 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, you got to be in a tranquil state where you like pretty much meditate, flush out everything that's been going on, just unwind, reset your mind for now you're ready to attack, because a haircut's a reset button for complete confident, like, boost. You want to feel, look great, and also do a lot better than you did before. That's why a lot of people get a haircut. Like, if you ever like felt the need, like, wow, I'm feeling low on myself. This happens to me all the time, and it's the funniest thing because it's right in front of my face. Even though I stand in front of a mirror, I don't look into the mirror every single day. So, like, right now, like, I need a haircut so bad. But, like, the other day I was sitting there, I'm like, I feel like shit. I was like, what's going on, guys? And I got out of nowhere, and I'm like, dude, you need a haircut. So I gave myself a shave. And I was like, all right, that holds me off 3 days. Tomorrow's the third day. So tomorrow I'm going to get a haircut. But, like, it's the little things like that hold you off in between, because even though I cut hair and I'm around people that cut hair all day, it's so much more difficult for me to get a haircut because we're servicing so many people, where then, like, once you start thinking about yourself, you're like, whoa, this needs to get done. Just like you. Like, you've been cutting your own hair, you know, for the past, what, 6 months? Like
6 months I've been cutting my own hair, and there's no like great feeling. I just like, all right, I just refuse to go and put a mask on to go sit in a chair. It's just in my DNA. It's just who I am. So I'm like, let me just keep cutting it. And I'm so thankful in a way, because this is the longest my hair's ever got. I'm able to get a beard. It's okay, socially acceptable. Like, okay, you don't have to look your best. Nobody's going to a barber right now as much as like before. And so, like, I'm thankful because I was able to get this, but now I need your products more than ever to take care of my beard. Now I need to take care of this stuff. So it's like, you know, but once again, when I go to a place, you're right. There's a confidence level. There's a walk that you get when you walk, you know, when you go outside those doors, you just feel better. And when I talk to barbers, you know, the people who are selling a product, they think they're just selling this product, but really what they're doing is giving people that feeling. And you know that going into it. A lot of entrepreneurs, they don't realize that it's the end result that you're giving them. It's not just the, I'm cutting hair. It's the end result. And that's how you have a great brand.
No, I appreciate that, seriously. And the way I wanted to do it is, so all my brands that I have currently, they're all my life mottos. So I live by them. Like, that's what I do. Like, so toccare, it means touch in Italian. So just to touch is the start of it all. The Hair Lounge, which is the flagship stores that also I have service operators that are giving services to then promote the products of the feeling afterwards, where then now you get the fragrance Toccare, which is touch in Italian. And then now I'm working on clothing lines. So Toccare, it's build your legacy. My whole thing on life is you build your legacy, but a legacy's meant to last day and night. Like, I'm talking about generational wealth. Like, I'm not talking about just like, all right, I'm going to make some money. Like, no, like, I'm trying to secure my future family. And I don't even have a girlfriend. You know what I mean? I don't even know if I'm going to have a girlfriend or a wife. I don't know, but I would love to have children, you know? But during this day and age, things are crazy. So you never know. So that's why I'm like,
we're here, man. We think of this way, same way.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's why I have to still tell myself, you got to build your legacy every day, because no matter how horrible the world might be, it's still you that determines your tomorrow. So like, it doesn't matter what's going outside these doors. It's like, you still got to do what you got to do every morning you wake up before you go to bed at night. So you can rest grateful to rise blessed. And ever endlessly, that's how I look at things. And then like, I got a clothing line that's been in the works, but like that's a whole nother option where it's like you're cut from a different cloth, and honestly they don't make them like us anymore, so you got to really like thrive off those types of things. Like Just a Touch is just not doing too much, but you're still doing so much with that little bit, and versus like, so like I have Matt Clay in my hair, held my hair for the day. Now I only used the slightest bit because I just needed to tame it a little bit, because I usually go like this every like 5-10 minutes. Like when I'm outside, like if I'm cutting hair, I would just do this like as I'm thinking, and then it'd be like, boom. So like now if my hair gets messy, I take a little bit of water, redo it, dry it out, and then it's right back to normal. Same thing with the clones. You need.
So what these, and we're going to get in the second segment here, are lessons that you can recommend to people, because you do have the entrepreneurial gene and it's in you. There's no hiding it. What I love about this society now, more than anything else, I think, is that an entrepreneur is not just a one-trick pony. Hey, I'm going to create one business and stick to it for the rest of my life. Nowadays, and I don't know if you follow, like, let's just say Dave Portnoy from Barstool. The guy created a magazine, but now he's into everything, gambling, advertisements.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's into what is it, Bitcoin now? Like, all right, so he's on every show, investing, Davey Day Trader. Like, all of a sudden, once you have a successful business, the gates are open, man. You could do everything. And so like your mind is going, okay, cutting hair, $10 goes right to hair care products, but cologne, to clothes, to everything. And now all of a sudden it's like, I could do whatever I want as long as I have the commitment to it, right? That's it.
Exactly. It's honestly, I have to be willing to make the sacrifices every day. No more partying at night. You know what I mean? Obviously you have 168 hours in a week. You can hang out an hour to 2 hours a day and still have 154 hours left to do whatever it is you need to do to succeed. Even if you sleep 54, there's 100 hours. You can work, let's say you work 40 hours normally. A normal work week for me is at least 75 to like 100 hours. Then from there is what I do on the extra. So like that's my extra on like the products, research, product development, packaging, maybe manufacturing, or just discussing a new idea with somebody. But the way you manage your time, this like determines everything. And You're right, with the modern entrepreneur today, like there are so much more things. But ready? Just like what you said with Dave Portnoy, he's doing just a touch of everything. Even though you don't want to spread yourself too thin at first, but you want to dive into one thing where people start to know you, you're gaining that traction, and then boom, you're involved in a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. And then all these little companies, they're growing together because they all act off one another. And then when they all act off one another, the one main brand is yourself. And when you like determine and you like declare so much respect for yourself, you're going to make sure that it's going to grow. And then as you grow, they all grow together. And then, but the main thing is to find those individuals to team up with, because it's collaboration's key. You know, you cannot do everything alone. That's for sure. So now that he's teaming up with all these different avenues and sectors, I'm trading his stock on TD Ameritrade, Penn National Gaming. I'm sitting there, I'm like, Dave Portnoy made this? And I'm like, what? Just made a couple $1,000. Let's go, Dave. Like, talk it up, you know?
And I think the magic of it is everything that he's doing and the successful people are doing, they're having fun. Like, that is contagious beyond belief. If you see someone who's killing it in the game, whether they're creating books, whether they're cutting hair, whether they're doing Barstool Sports Magazine, and they're having fun doing it and making a living and doing whatever the hell they want, now all of a sudden that could build a tribe, because I want a little piece of whatever that person's doing, and I want that to rub off on me. And you just it's a magnet.
That's living. That's living. When you're loving what you're doing, you're having fun, you're living right there. You know, like you're living the rock star's dream, and that's what we're here to do. You
The
got to
Ultimate
do
Life.
it.
Ultimate
It
Life.
really is.
And that's
really
that's the magazine, and I think you get that. A lot of people get that. What I'm trying to do is grant access to the Ultimate Life, and you're able to see it within the magazine, the content we're putting out, and that's why we're so thrilled for you to be a part of it. But before we get into the second segment, I got a quick. It's called the shotgun questionnaire for you. Okay, are you ready for this?
Let's go.
Okay, real quick. First answers that come to your mind. Favorite band right now.
Favorite band, like rock band? I'd probably
Rock
say
band, artist, musician, anything.
like AC/DC.
Oh, good man. Movie. Favorite movie right now.
Rocky.
Rocky. Good man. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Rocky 4.
Yeah.
Good call. How about your hero that's dead? Anybody you have looked up to who is dead?
My grandfather.
Wow. How about entrepreneur you look up to more than anybody else right now and you follow along?
Ooh, that's tough. There's a couple right now, honestly. I'd probably have to go with probably Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
You watch his stuff a lot?
Yeah, I watch his stuff a lot. I mean, I track back from Jim Rohn because that's where he learned from. So I like try to look his stuff up. I really dive into Andy Frisella, Ed Milet, and Grant Cardone a lot. Those three combined, those are the trifecta for me. Gary Vee as well, because he's very good and he's quick. So like I'm learning like the speed from him. Andy Frisella is just stern. Ed Milet has like more of an outside perspective, and Grant is just a savage salesman. So like all of them combined is like, yo, you're a deadly weapon. And then Tony Robbins is just like the emotional light, where it's just like bring everybody together in a way where the energy is so high. It's crazy. Like I watched like his documentary, and I have like the tapes, like because even my mother used to like watch him when she was younger. I have his old cassette tapes, it's like a 10 volume type deal, and I listened to that when I was 16 years old. This is what started me off. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, whoa. And then to see him now, it's just like how it multiplied. And then all these other like people that followed him and like everything together, going to the 10X growth cons, going to the real estate wealth seminars, like all these different types of like conferences where they all like integrate in a way where I make the emotional connection to them. It's making me a better person. So like whenever I'm in doubt, I just pop on podcasts or something like that. Read or listen to some of the videos, and then boom, I'm right back at it. Like it's crazy because they've been through similar things. So like eventually I'm going to do that. I want to give back to people that way, and that's the one way to start is by viewing, observing, take in what they're doing. And that's exactly what I did with cutting hair or even with products. I took in what they're doing, observing all these companies, and I could see that they were diluting all their formulas just to make an extra couple bucks, cut costs. When it's all about the small batches, it's the quality, not quantity. Because if you have quality, just like Lamborghini, Ferrari, they don't have any commercials. Why? Because their audience doesn't sit watching TV. So like you make the few selective but more valuable types of products and services, whatever it may be, there'll be people out there to buy it 100%. Because when value exceeds price, you're paying. That's it.
Remember that, guys. That's why I want to get into the lessons in the second segment here. But a book that changed your life. One book.
48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
Wow. Good one. I usually hear Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I usually hear, 7 Habits of Successful People, but that's a new one.
That one did too. But the 48 Laws of Power, honestly, just put things in a different perspective when I was younger, because being in history class when you're younger, you're sitting there like, what? Like you're so bored. And then 48 Laws of Power is a different, you have to make a lot of connections in like, cause it's tracking back than like back in the day, like how they like have the context of writing. So like when you actually make the connections on the 48 laws and you apply it to what you're doing today, it's actually insane. Like how you can like make the connections. Like when I was a kid, that's what started me off. And then I did Rich Dad, Poor Dad, amazing book. Love that book. It really, because I can make huge connections with that. Learning from a wealthier father and a not so wealthy father, like everyone has that in their life. I feel like, well, majority. 7 Habits of Effectively Highly highly effective people. That one was huge. How to Win Friends and Influence People, by Dale Carnegie. That
Dale
one's
Carnegie.
great. I read that 3 times, honestly. And every time I read it, I think I do every other year, I reread some of the books. And every time I reread it, I see it in a different perspective because as I'm growing, I'm like, whoa, like I didn't see that one. Or honestly, right now, what's really changed my life, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins.
David Goggins, man, what a machine right now. He's making some big moves. Great name drop.
Yeah, huge moves. And honestly, taught me. So I've had back issues since I was 14, 15 years old. So if you cannot live like the other side of pain, honestly, is huge reward. So if you can live through pain, like I'm talking about physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, and you could see the light on the other side, you're undefeatable. So like with him, when I'm reading that book, he's been through way more than I have, obviously. But to make a connection back to what you yourself has been through, and realize if you're tired, you're only 40% like done. Like your mind has a governor where it's just going to shut down after a while, make you feel comfortable. Like, no, be common, being uncommon and uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So like you want to keep pushing forward where now you're surpassing your limits. And that's like when you go to the gym, for instance, you're going to hit a plateau always. So now you're going to take a step back, but then you got to shoot forward and then hit it harder. And then now you hit a new PR or something like that, new max rep, whatever it may be. But like dealing with back pain for this whole, especially last year was a big, crazy year for me because I was out of commission for 12 weeks, got surgery, ended up falling, re-injuring myself again. So pretty much half the year was just in the toilet, like, because I was focusing on like getting my mind together. So a 6-month year, opening up a store, still in business right now, dealing with COVID 2 weeks after opening up my store. And now I'm here on a podcast. This is amazing. I'm loving life right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy that I could still talk in my office nonetheless. Like
it's your article is in the magazine, which is now all over the United States. There are people who are in movies with Val Kilmer reading this magazine right now. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
It's an amazing journey when you can write your own story and you control your life. That's who you are. You're controlling your own life, your own destiny by having your own business and multiple avenues of revenue. That's the key. We're going to get into that in a second. But one last question for the shotgun questionnaire, and that is, what is one thing on your bucket list that you're going to accomplish this year? I mean, when I say this year, 2020, 2021, somewhere in there.
Okay. Go on vacation. I haven't been on vacation in 5 years.
I haven't done it either for years and years. Before my business became successful with money and everything, I think I didn't go for like 8 years.
Yeah, it's my 5th. Yeah, this is my 5th year. Wait, actually, hold on. A vacation means more than 4 or 5 days?
I would say more than 3 days.
All right. So, yeah, all right. Never mind. We're going back. I think 17. 17 was the last time I went. So, what was that? 9 years? Wow. Because honestly, I was the king of I was like 2021. I have a Calc 3 or differential equations final in like 2 weeks. Take a quick 2-day power trip to Las Vegas. Like turned 21, boom. I went there, celebrated, came back, studied, or went to Miami, had a midterm, right? In a week, went to Miami for a night. The most expensive night of my life. Came right back the next day, brought my books, studied, took the exam, passed and everything. So like I haven't had a real vacation since I was 17, where I literally went to Florida, like to visit my friend in school, where I was there for like 5-6 days. And it's still like at the same time, like not a vacation, you know, I want to be on an island. So within the next year, the end of this year, probably not going to travel. But by end of next year, 100% going to do like a nice 5 to 7 day, nice kind of like no technology vacation type deal. Like just turn my phone off and just like unwind. Get the ideas flourishing more, you know?
Where are you going?
I have no idea yet. Maybe Var in Croatia. That's some crazy spot. Like random, but like I want to go to like some crazy like maybe Costa Rica. Costa Rica is kind of like people have been there before. Jocko Beach, like I'm talking about like VAR Croatia, like do a yacht week trip, like some crazy like type of excursion where like no one's really been to, like nothing basic, but like somewhere worthwhile. And then you can like kind of like explore a little bit, jump off a cliff. I don't know. Maybe I can. I don't know if that's good for my back, honestly, but I really want to go skydiving. Skydiving's up there, but I don't know if I'm able to do that yet. I got to get like a.
You got to do it once. You got to do it once.
No, I'm definitely gonna do it more than once. I wanted to get my So you know how like I saw 10X GrowthCon, Grant Cardone literally landed in the middle of the whole stage.
I was there, yeah.
Right out of the plane. Yeah, so I want to do something like that where I can actually jump out of the plane, literally in a suit, land on the back of a moving speedboat, pull some James Bond move, and then come to shore, and then that's where we have a party. So like that's
an idea.
That's what I want to do. Yeah, that's an idea. I'll probably do that in like 4 or 5 years. But next year, vacation, planning to do VAR first.
Beautiful. In the second segment, he's going to give some tips, advice, information for all those other future or current rock stars of business. So check out this little ad from one of the Dream Girls here. I think you're going to like it. Watch this.
Ladies, don't you love a man who takes care of his face? I know I do. I just can't keep my hands off of my man's beard. Hey fellas, want to know the secret? It's called Just a Touch. It makes you look great, smell great, and feel great. And with the right shave and treatment, your confidence will never stop growing. Now let's be honest, your face deserves the absolute best. Just a Touch, where confidence meets excellence for the modern man.
Okay, and we're back with Bart Cerrati, the owner of Just a Touch, and he's dropping bombs here with his stories. Now he's just going to break it down into the lessons. He's featured in our magazine. Quick little clip of the RockstarsDream Magazine. Check it out. A nice article. Before we get into the lessons and kind of wrap this thing up, what is in this magazine for people to read about? Because I know it's for men and giving advice. Tell us a little bit about this article.
So with this article, I wanted to just pretty much explain to everybody in the quickest way possible, because as you can tell, we can go for days right now. But within this article, it's going to teach you how to practically shave in excellence. Now, using the system that I formulated that helped me with my conflicts, and I saw a bunch of others that had a lot of shaving conflicts along the same lines, because when you do have sensitive skin, it is extremely difficult, but everything is very particulate. So you need to be so particulate on what you're actually putting on your face, what you're using to shave your face, the type of way you're shaving your face, the process. Everything within the process matters. So every little detail matters. And that's why I wanted to explain to you guys in like a more like humorous way of doing it, because no one likes reading boring stuff like, hey guys, we're going to do warm water, then we're going to do some oil, shave it up a little bit. Like, no, like you got to really see where I was coming from with this, where honestly, like you need to shave in a certain way where it's enjoyable. Like life is enjoyable. So like all these luxuries that are like the little things, and the little things are all luxurious. Honestly, drinking water today is a luxury. So you got to drink with style. Poland Spring is great. Sometimes I like Fiji, or high alkaline water. You need to get some more oxygen in your cells. Doesn't matter. Alkalize your body. But with that being said, you have to enjoy it. So the way I like to shave is you put on some tunes, you start it up, and then after a while, you're really enjoying life versus you just hopping in your shower. And obviously, we got to do it in a timely and effective manner, because we are all high performers and high achievers where we really don't have that much time to start grooming, right? Some people, like Mike, they grow their beards, but still you need to take care of it. So probably while you're getting ready, you're going to wash it, you're going to put beard oil in, you're going to shave the bottom of your neck. That's less time. My products itself, it's 2 ounces each. It'll last you 3 to 4 months. I literally shave probably about and don't get me wrong, some days I feel lazy and I don't shave. And I'm like, I like to scruff today. So it's fine to do that. Not everyone shaves every day. So they'll shave let's say 3-4 times in a week. It'll last you you could get 4 or 5 months out of it if you're really trying to make it last. But if you're going to shave very consistently, you'll get a minimum of 2 months out of it versus like you going to like other larger companies like Gillette or something like that, where you buy a big can, a foam can, where you're just like, wow, like this is the best deal ever. $8, this will last me probably like 3-4 months. Yeah, but you're gonna rape your skin along the way. Where then now you're spending all this money on exfoliating systems, face washes, acne control, spot treatment, moisturizers, like all this stuff. Men, we don't need it. We need a brush and a razor with great shaving cream. The pre-shave oil, which is the protection in the beginning, and the aftershave, which is the finisher that seals your face off with the excellence. So
there's so much stuff that we don't think of, right? The average person does not think this far into it.
No, and like me, I have the engineering mindset where I got so analytical, and I literally dissected every little detail of what can possibly go wrong. And the main thing, honestly, would be to start would be the razors. Like we've been told from years and years of like having more technology, slap another blade on it, slap another blade, you'll get a close shave, slap another blade. Yes, you'll get a close shave. Don't get me wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blades I'm seeing right now. So let's say the normal is 4 to 5. Each blade takes a layer of skin off, correct? So that means that there's 5 layers of skin coming off, which they don't tell you about the skin. They just tell you about this in scholarly articles. In the scholarly articles, They'll state the skin's also coming off, but in like a Gillette approved type of like scientific article, they'll tell you the bottom blade will pull the hair down, and then following up with the second blade will pull the hair even more down to the slice, and then the third blade will pull the hair even down, which is true. You're gonna get that hair pulled out, but the skin underneath, because that's the most sensitive thing. This is the most prized possession is your face. Everybody's got to look at it. So do you. So you want to love your face every time you see it. At least, like, you don't want a face that only a mother can love. So with that, like, and then they're going to hit you with the strip at the end, which vitamin E and aloe, great for your skin, right? But they don't tell you about the chemical binding ingredient that's on that strip, where that can cause all the irritation. Because every time I would shave, right, I lather it up, even with my stuff now, and I go one pass, I immediately feel a tingle or a burn because of that chemical just being in there. When vitamin E and aloe both are great for your skin, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you don't need 5 blades. You know, there's one blade that you really need. And if you track back to our grandfathers or great-grandfathers or all of our ancestors, they looked young. One blade. They looked young at like 80 years old, and you're like, dude, you don't look 80, you look like you're 50. Yeah, because they used one blade their whole life. They never used any chemicals where they had all this face wash and exfoliants. They used a brush, which is an exfoliator, takes all the dead skin cells, any debris on your face, and extracts oil, softens your beard. They use it on oil, pre-shave oil. They use a nice, luxurious shave soap or cream, which then they lathered in with a brush. I use a silver tip badger brush. It's the highest grade. Or you could use a badger brush or a best badger, doesn't matter, because they all have a similar effect, but the silver tip will give you the better lather, and it's softer on the face. Now they looked young the whole time because they didn't mistreat their face. They treated it with the natural organic stuff that now everybody is going into now, where they're going back to, because they're starting to realize that all these farms and stuff, they've been pumping all these prebiotics, all these chemicals, not probiotics. Probiotics is a good bacteria that you kind of need. All these chemicals they're getting pumped into the foods, which then translates into all the plants. So essential oils, some essential oils aren't good essential oils because they're getting sprayed with the plants because they want to get more out of their plants. All like the types of hormones that they're pumping in meats and stuff. That's why like people were like, oh, I'm vegan. Like I'm always going to eat meat, but I'm going to eat grass-fed meat, you know? So like animals that just eat the grass, because if you think about it, animals and all of us, the more vegetable intake we have, the better. But if they're vegetables with shit sprayed on them and chemicals, you're going to be ingested with the chemicals. And then our skin, now you're ruining your body from the inside out. Now from the outside in is your skin. Your skin's a sponge. So remember when, like, if you were to hold a baby, right? You got to be careful with what you have on your hands when you're holding a baby. You got to be careful with what you're using around the baby. You got to be careful where you're putting the baby. So you don't want to put a baby near a microwave, right? Because the radioactive type of waves, even though it's a low frequency, still don't want them being near there. You don't want it near any types of gases. You don't want them near any types of soaps or anything where or like a chemical like Windex, for instance. You don't want Windex on a baby's hand because a baby or a man, anybody in general, your pores are open at all times.
Chemicals getting in. You're right.
Chemicals getting in, and over time, too much exposure of the chemicals can actually be a negative effect where honestly, like parabens and stuff like that, that's why I take all the parabens out. It's mainly used as a preservative, which you don't necessarily need because with an everyday used product, they're going to be used every day. So you don't want them to be sitting there, obviously for shelf lives, but at the same time, like, why are you going to dilute your products and try to extend the shelf life when you know that people are going to buy it because of the natural quality of it? So with that, like, that's why I really focus on trying to give them the best type of quality blend of ingredients and also use a little bit of it at a time. So just a touch where then you can get the most out of it versus, hey, listen, you're going to buy this big can, right? And you're going to use you're going to use so much. You think the more you use, the better. No, the more you use, the worse because there's so much alcohol in it. It's just taking all the moisture out of your skin where then now you're going to create fissures and cracks in your skin. And then you're going to just shave that all off. So you're shaving dry skin. So have you ever shaved when you had sunburn?
Oh, yeah.
How bad is that?
It's unbelievable. It's terrible. Even the slightest touch. Why? Because you're talking about dead skin, or is it basically just harmed skin already? Yeah.
It's already harmed skin. So like if your skin's already dry, right? Now you want to shave with a foam or a gel or something. Certain shave gels actually penetrate the stratum corneum a lot more quicker and effective than certain creams. But you have to notice that some shave gels have alcohol because now you're contradicting yourself. So if you're going to hydrate the skin, you want to open the pores and soothe them. So then the hair sticks out where then you can shave it nice and easy. But you hit it with alcohol, now it's going to minimize that pore size. So now you're going to aggravate the pores, which then cause ingrown hairs, razor bumps, and post-shave breakouts and irritation. You don't want that. So you want the whole process to be so smooth where then at the end, cool water, literally cold water. Everybody has cold water in their house. If you have a house, I really hope you do. Then you calm your pores down. And then right after that, you hit them with the aftershave balm that has alpha hydroxy acid. And that's going to minimize your pore size even more. So it's also acting as like a little anti-aging system. So the main thing for men is women versus men with this, like women don't shave their face. If they do, I'm so sorry. But if you're going to sit there and women take care of themselves and they get facials all the time, men, we might get a facial once every 8 years. We're like, oh, we should go get one. Like, we're not going to get a facial. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So the main thing for us is we have to preserve our youth through our shaves or our beard care. You know what I mean? So with beards are a lot more difficult to tame than just shaving because shaving is simple. 3 steps and shave. Beards, you got to wash it every day. You got to make sure nothing's in there, nothing's hiding out, no food, saving for later. You got to
finding that out. Yep.
You know, eating your hair. You know what I mean? Like I hate eating my mustache. That's why I shave it. So that's why. So with this,
I do that now. I'm like, son of a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like that. That's why it's like you really got to take into consideration what you're actually using for your face because in the long spectrum of everything it's all about the long run, and you want to make sure that you're taking all the proper steps to gearing towards like a longer lifespan on your youth. So preserving that youth is by shaving correctly, shaving in excellence, because you can't achieve perfection. It's just unattainable. You'll drive yourself insane trying to do it. That's why we strive for excellence, because that is something that we have full control of doing. Nobody else does.
Love it. And that's your brand stands for, striving for excellence. So to wrap this up, though, we're getting to the edge of the time here for the podcast. So there are lessons that you talk about throughout this entire podcast that helped you grow your brand, from the $10 haircuts to creating products to understanding and becoming the master, 55,000 hours. what are three things that you could boil down and give advice to anybody in any category, any industry? Maybe they are in hair, maybe they are in creating books, maybe they are in a magazine or advertising or landscaping. What would you say to these people? Doesn't matter how high level or low level it is. What are three things that you kind of adhere to on a daily basis that makes you successful?
So number one, I would say, no matter how hard a time might be, right? Everything's going to get hard, right? Never give up. Always see that through. See whatever that goal is that you have first, see it through to the end, no matter what. Even if it's like it's the most difficult time ever and you're in a traumatic amount of pain, you'll see it through. Trust me. Number two, you got to be willing to make the sacrifice. You got to sacrifice all those nights out, all those parties, those like hangouts, whatever it may be. Just sacrifice it. You might have to sacrifice family events. I've sacrificed a lot of family events. It's going to happen. And your family, the true supportive ones, they'll understand. The other ones, they're just going to give you shit all day. So just be prepared for that. And number three, I would say, never give up first. Always sacrifice. And number three, focus on the little things that doing every day, those little singles, right? You don't want to hit home runs all the time because it's all about the singles and the doubles, those little things, right? Like making your bed in the morning, having water before, stretching, clearing your mind before, or don't pick up your phone immediately when you wake up, like clearing your mind before even diving into your day. All those little things that make you who you are, having a gallon of water a day is like your health. All these little things tie into place. Mastering the monotony. You got to master you with the basics. Once you get the basics down, that's your foundation. You can grow off there, and you can build your subfloor, first floor, second floor, third floor, and you can continue going all the way up. But to get to the third floor, you need a strong foundation always, because that's where you'll get some cracks, and you don't need that in your foundation. You always need to make sure that, and even through that point, if you ever crack, you never give up and you make the sacrifice to fix it. And that's why those little things make all the difference when it comes to the end of everything.
It's amazing you say that, because there was a podcast done recently. I believe it was I forget his name. I mean, if I heard his name, he worked with Grant Cardone, and he has a podcast, and he did his Lightspeed. Who's the owner of Lightspeed?
Oh, Bradley.
He talked about stacking wins. Awesome. And I've heard this before, but I just heard it recently again, stacking wins, because you got to convince yourself in a certain way that you're a winner, not a loser. So your mind always thinks like, oh, I ate that candy bar. I can't hold up myself. Oh, I lost that girl. Oh, my business idea failed. So like your mind, if you have all these goals and none of these goals really worked out. Oh, I didn't lose those 10 pounds. Oh, I didn't get in my best shape. Your mind only remembers those goals that you wrote down and either finished or did not finish. And so you have to change that somehow. And that could be in those daily habits that you're talking about, where you stack wins, but your mind doesn't know how big of a win or how big of a loss it is. So you could say, you know what? Maybe I didn't accomplish all those things, but I need to convince myself that I'm a winner now. So how am I going to do that? I wake up, I make my bed. I get a shower by 7 a.m. I read this book. I write all this stuff down. And all of a sudden, now your mind, after a certain amount of time, starts to convince itself that it's a winner. So when it does come to the big stuff, whether it's holding that deal in place, creating that monster business, or being that person on the podcast that you need people to see you as, now all of a sudden your mind is in autopilot. I'm a winner. I accomplish things. I do things. And it's just second nature. So now the other stuff doesn't matter. It's already being forgotten about. And so now you become the person after you stack the wins, you build the foundation. Now you go from one level to the next, I'm glad you brought that up.
And I'm going to leave it off with this. It's because this infamous line, I even have it written on the board outside for everybody to see. Losers focus on winners. Winners focus on winning. And that's why you always need to stack those wins to focus on winning. So every little thing and big thing that comes into play, you're obsessed with that, your life goals and dreams. You're committed fully, where then you can win no matter what. And that's literally where never giving up and sacrifice come into play, because no matter what, you're going to deal with so much, along the way. It honestly, I don't even think I've dealt with enough, and I just dealt with some crazy stuff this past year. So like, there's just a lot more to come for me and for everybody. We have, like, if you think about it, like all of our, like, we're the strong soldiers that are left, right? So God actually saves us for the hardest battles. So we're going to deal with a lot, but we're the ones that are willing to do it, because we're going to endure the pain and we're going to flip that into some positive note. And we're always optimistic ones, where we can see the light through the end. And that's why it's way better than just sitting there and just living a mediocre life. Like that's contagious, and that's not where anybody wants to be. You want to be better for the better, for everyone else better around you. It's just how life is. Like when I was a kid, just growing up, like I wanted a better life. And honestly, you have full control of, if you want to give yourself and your future family, your family right now, a better life. It's all up to you. I'm not saying like it's all on you, which it is, but at the same time, you can use everybody around you as a team to work together to having a better outlook on life.
I love it. You retrain your mind that you're a winner, and that's how you strive for excellence. And that's just a touch philosophy. It's phenomenal. How can people get a hold of you, man? What's the best way? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? What's the best way?
So you can get a hold of me any way possible. I'm on LinkedIn as well. On Instagram mainly would be my personal, which would be Bartolomeo C _. And then we have my Just a Touch Co., which is the hair company. If you want to give a follow to that, as well as the Just a Touch Hair Lounge, which is where I'll be promoting all the services and every extensive services that we offer. And the fragrance line as well is Tocare Fragrance. That's the one that's up and coming now. Facebook, it would be the same thing, Just a Touch Hair Lounge, as well as Bartolomeo Cerrati. My name's spelled below, and I'm sure we'll put it up on board after this, so you'll see all the key tags. Give us some support, share any post you like, comment, whatever it is, engage as much as possible. I do giveaways all the time, honestly, and now with everything coming, like now that everything's been working in the past couple of weeks, I've worked 15 weeks straight. Now I'm gonna start doing more giveaways. Having more products being given away. We do fragrance giveaways. So just honestly stay tuned, because you never know. I literally wake up sometimes and 7 days in a row, giveaway. Or it might be every 3 weeks. You never know. So it's up to you to stay tuned and just keep in touch, just a touch, not too much, obviously.
Love it. I love it. Guys, you can obviously hear his passion in his voice, his skill sets, what he's done. Just follow along, see what he's putting out there. We got to know each other via Instagram, and I highly recommend you check out his page, get his products, and read his article in the magazine. So until next time, thanks so much, Bart. I appreciate it, man. And
thank you, Mike. I appreciate it.
Rockstars of Business, these are the type of people you're going to be able to listen to. So stay tuned for more, and we will see you in the next one.